I started riding motorbikes because I wanted a cruiser. I wanted all the chrome and I wanted to be sat low down with a thunderous engine and just enjoying life and looking at the scenery. And when I started, I got a Kiwi RKV125, and then when I got my big A license, I bought a Super Meteor 650 Royal Enfield. And that was supposed to be it. I'd just sit back and enjoy the ride. But after riding over 70 bikes, something's gone badly wrong. And the reason why it's gone badly wrong is because I'm now looking forward to riding sports bikes. But there's two problems with that. I'm almost 6'4" and I don't own a leather suit. So today I'm going to find out if this RS660 is going to turn me into a true sports rider, or will it remind me of why I wanted to be on a cruiser in the first place. I'm a tall guy, I'm almost 6'4", and I wear textile motorbike clothing. Not only that, we're doing YouTube, I carry a lot of camera equipment. Now, on a sports bike with a leather suit, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put that. I've also got a lovely wife and she likes to come on the back of the bike sometimes. I'm not sure whether the Aprilia is going to give her that same experience. This bike has obviously been designed for somebody much smaller, younger, athletic and probably a bit more aerodynamic than me. It's got winglets, all in suspension, and as I found out after I'd ridden the bike, it's got launch control. It's got an aluminium frame, and it's got a riding position that looks like it's been built for somebody about 4 feet shorter than myself. When I decided to start riding this bike, I wouldn't have glanced twice at it. I wouldn't have looked at it twice. It's just the styling, the whole idea about it. It didn't excite me as a bike. I wanted something that was comfortable, big. If you watch regularly, I'm on a quest to try and learn everything I can about bikes, and that includes a bit of bike history. So I've had a little look at Aprilia to see where it came from, and it was started in 1945 in Italy. It built a reputation through two-strokes, Grand Prix racing and MotoGP today. And the RS660 was first shown as a prototype in 2019, and the idea was to create a smaller, more usable relative of the RS-V4. So they're trying to make a sports bike that's got genuine performance and technology, but you didn't need superbike speeds before it became interesting. And this is something that I've noticed on my journey up to 100 bikes. I'm in the 70s now, but some of the bigger sports bikes, I've got off them and they've surprised me. I've thought, well, you know, actually, that is a good bike, but what's the point of all that power on the road? And maybe this bike is going to answer that question. So this is a 659cc parallel twin engine, and it takes its basic architecture from the front bank of Aprilia's V4. So it's not really a sensible road bike dressed to look like a superbike. It's been designed to feel like a proper Aprilia. Now you might be thinking, well, you don't know what a proper Aprilia should feel like. I'm limited in experience on sports bikes, so I can't really compare it against the bigger bike. But one thing I do know is that it definitely felt like a sports bike. This is the factory version, and that comes in this dark Banshee paint scheme. I quite like this. I don't know what you think. Let me know in the comments. And with the factory version, it gets the Brembo brakes and the all-in suspension. First task for me on this bike, it's not the horsepower or the handling or the braking. It's to see if I can physically fit on it. I'm happy to say, actually, it didn't feel that bad. When I'm on these smaller bikes, I do feel a little bit like those parrots that ride motorbikes in Tenerife, if you've seen them. I feel a little bit too big, or almost like Donkey Kong in Mario Kart. I feel like I'm sat on something much smaller. There's some bikes where I do feel really cramped up, but on this, I don't feel cramped up, but I am aware I might look a bit too big for it. It is a sports bike though, and my knees are quite high up, and I can feel the weight on my wrist. But I've learnt with sports bikes that once you get them up to speed, well, the wrist pressure goes away because your body starts to lift up. I've got this textile jacket on, and I've got some camera equipment. It's not ideal, I'm going to be honest with you, because I've got camera equipment in these front two pockets, and if I want to lean on the tank, like, I can feel it all. So that would be something that I'd have to look at. But anyway, put that to one side. So I'm quite surprised with this bike. It does not immediately feel uncomfortable and like I can't ride it, which is good because it means that I can go and actually test ride this bike properly and get it opened up. But that also means that it might give me a bit of an expensive problem later on. Okay, so with that out of the way, next thing, I'm expecting it to be quite shunty. It's a sports bike, it looks like it wants to go. And to be fair, it's slightly shunty at lower speeds going through traffic, but it's not as shunty as some I've been on. A lot lower powered bikes. This bike, actually, it's okay, you can work with it. One thing that I did notice a bit later on in the ride is that there's some different modes. I was in dynamic mode at the start, but if you change it to commuter or commuting mode, then it changes the bike. It makes it really livable and easy for villages and towns. And that would be something that I'd flick between. The commuting mode, actually, just for normal riding, has still got plenty of push in it, but it just seems to just smooth the bike out when you're in villages, towns, traffic. Let's be honest, I probably won't want to ride this for 3 hours going around towns. I think I'd get quite uncomfortable at that, but it's not as unforgiving as what I thought. If you've watched the channel in the past, you might see that I did a Ducati 848, and that were a lesson in pleasure and torture at the same time. This is not that bike. All right, so I've got some stats here. I'm gonna have to read these out because it's still a little bit gobbledygook to me, but I'm starting to understand a bit more. So this is a 659cc parallel twin. It's got a 270-degree crank, and it produces 105 horsepower at 10,400 RPM and 70 Newton meters of torque. Now that sounds pretty fast to me, but this bike, you don't have to get ridiculous speeds to get a buzz out of it. It is, I think best way to describe it, it's a sports bike, but literally made for the road. For some reason, this bike seems more exhilarating than most, but when you look down, you're not doing crazy speeds. Now, I'm not saying you can't do crazy speeds, and I'm not saying I did crazy speeds, but there's way more in this bike than what I think you can access on the road. Way more. As it goes through the rev range, it just keeps going, this bike. It just wants to keep going. And I found out later, got a quick shifter. The quick shifter on this bike, I think, is one of the best quick shifters that I've used. I'm only just finding out about quick shifters, so it's early days, so there may be better bikes with quick shifters. I rode bikes before that had quick shifters, and I never even used the quick shifter, so I might have missed them. But when you shift on this bike, it is bang, bang, bang. It is instant. There's no little drop where you can feel the clutch engaging. There's nothing. It's just straight through. And when you're going up through the rev range and you're changing gears and you're getting it flashing, it's just such a joy to ride. So going back to my cruiser days, I thought to enjoy a bike you had to be relaxed and just moving around, but with this bike you're totally immersed in it. And I've learned to really enjoy thinking about lines, gears, what rev range I'm in, what's around me. I think that we're probably doing the training with Rapid and I am. It's just the whole process of riding is totally immersive to me, and it's one of the few things I do in life where I'm not distracted by other things. I'm totally focused on it. And with a cruiser bike, well, that allows me mind to wander slightly. Not too much because I'm still riding, but with this, it's got to be razor sharp focus, because if not, things are going to happen quick and it could go bad quickly. But the immersion and the concentration, it's not a thing out of fear or uncomfortableness. It's actually totally enjoyable to try and reach that flow state, which I think this bike allows you to do. When the RS660 first appeared, it helped create a new kind of middleweight sports bike, and it offered more performance, technology and quality than bikes such as the Kawasaki Ninja 650, but without going as far as a full superbike. Since then, there's been bikes like the Yamaha R7, Suzuki GSX 8R and Triumph Daytona 660. And I've not ridden those bikes, but the Honda CBR 650R offers 4-cylinder performance, and I have ridden that bike, which I loved, while motorcycles such as the Yamaha R9, which I've ridden, and Ducati Panigale V2 sit above this in power and price. I have done the R9, but I've not done the Panigale V2. Now that is a bike that I want to try. But the Aprilia still feels different. It doesn't feel like a sensible road bike that's been covered in sports bike bodywork. The aluminium frame, Brembo brakes, electronics and suspension all feel as though they were part of the same idea from the beginning. And for somebody like me, the balance in what this bike offers is dangerous. A full superbike for me is easier to dismiss because I could say it was too extreme, too uncomfortable and too ridiculous for normal roads. But this RS660 leaves just enough usability to make ownership seem possible. So up to this point I'm enjoying the Aprilia more than I expected, but enjoying a sports bike through towns, not really the way to experience this. And then this is where the RS660 starts to explain itself more, because it feels really light and it's precise and it's easy to turn. You don't have to wrestle it into a corner like a cruiser. As soon as you think about turning, well, the bike's already done it. It holds the line, it changes direction without feeling like it's going to throw you off. And you know exactly what the front tyre's doing all the time. These brakes are powerful, but what I found with them is that you had to give them a bit of squeeze. Maybe you can set it up differently. They were a bit of lighter play at first, and then if you carried on squeezing, they would stop the bike dead. Now, I'm not going to pretend I know about suspension, because I don't, but one thing I would say is that it was a bike that seemed to just hold the road. That's it. It were like it were on rails, this bike. And I think at this point in the ride, it's where I realised that I'm not just tolerating things to enjoy the engine and the speed and the acceleration of a sports bike. I were actually genuinely loving everything about this bike. There's something about the sound of the engine, the acceleration, the way that it keeps pulling, the quick shifter, the way that it turns in, the way that you move your body across. It's a different way of riding, and I think it's a way of riding that I genuinely take pleasure from. So we've gone from starting the test riders to, oh, can I fit on this and can I tolerate it, to why would I not want this bike? And this bike could not be any different to that Super Meteor that I had. You know, the Super Meteor were all about slowing down, taking life slowly, but on this, I just felt like when I was riding it that all the world had slowed down because of the rapidness of this bike. Everything seemed slow. People pulling out of junctions and roundabouts, and I was just like zipping through it all. Totally opposite to the experience I wanted when I started. But this is, to me, is a better experience. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not speeding, I'm doing legal speeds, but there's something in this bike that just seems really zippy. And it did that effect. Everything seemed slowed down. And I don't know whether it were because I knew how much power I got in my wrist that I could use, or just the way it got to where it needed to be. It was just a different experience. Reality hit me then, because when I got off the bike, well, I thought to myself, well, as much as I like it, it's not really practical, is it? You know, I can't carry the camera gear. I'm going to get all this camera gear on there because I don't really want a textile coat on if I'm going to be riding an RS660. I want at least a leather two-piece suit, if not a one-piece suit. And that means, well, I'm going to have to put a rucksack on, but I've never seen Marc Marquez with a rucksack. And then there's Claire. Well, if I spend all that money on that, Claire's never going to experience this bike. So is that fair for me to allocate our funds towards that? It would have been easier for me if the pressure in my wrists got worse, or my lower back started hurting, or the position of my knees were giving me a problem after 20 minutes. But it didn't. It was comfortable, and I feel like I could have gone a lot further on it and done a lot more. And that's why this bike is so dangerous to me, because I could always have another bike to take Claire on. I could always have a different bike for camera equipment. But what about for what I want to do? What about just for me to go out riding? This bike has got everything I think I'm looking for, just for me. And I was told early on that you shouldn't buy a bike with your brain, you should buy it with your heart. And this bike is all about heart. So there's a full electronics package on this. and it makes it feel more expensive and sophisticated by a lot of its rivals. So it's got cornering ABS, and it's got 3 maps to that: traction control, wheelie control, engine brake control, 5 riding modes, cruise control, a quick shifter, and 6-axis IMU. The TFT screen's really clear, the switchgear's backlit, and you can change how you want this bike to behave, which, if you saw some of my other videos, I don't really want to get into TFT screen menus and that. Just take it as it is. Why the factory and not the standard? Well, the standard gets the same engine, frame, brakes and electronics. The factory version doesn't give you more power. It gives you the fully adjustable all-in suspension and the factory paint scheme. I started riding motorbikes because I wanted a cruiser, a low seat, a relaxed engine, lots of chrome, something that looked good outside a cafe. And more than 70 bikes later, I appear to have ended up here on an Italian sports bike with winglets. And it hasn't made me believe that comfort, luggage or pillion space no longer matter to me. And it definitely hasn't made me any shorter, but it has shown me why people would fall in love with sports bikes. It's light, it's properly fast without becoming ridiculous, and it makes ordinary roads feel a lot more interesting than what they should be. I think it rewards concentration, and it gives you much of the theatre of an exotic superbike, but without demanding you put it into those speeds. So would I have this bike as my only motorbike? No. Because I do need a bike that can do the other things. That is part of my biking. To be able to carry equipment, to be able to sit for long hours on there, to be able to have Claire on the back, and to be able to ride through winter. And this bike is not going to do that. However, if I had that bike and I had an option to get a second bike, I think that this has definitely got to be a contender. And I'm not at the 100 bike mark yet, and I don't want to speak prematurely, but this has got to be one of the finest motorbikes that I've ridden up to now. And I cannot believe I'm saying that. It's just remarkable that this is where I am in biking. I never ever saw it coming, but what a bike. And if you ever get the chance to ride one, if you haven't, just try it, because there's something bigger than all of its parts in this bike. It's just magical. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review. If you haven't already subscribed, then please consider subscribing, and we'll catch you next time as I work my way up to 100 motorbikes.